Hi everyone, good evening. Hope you all are doing well today. First of all, I would really like to thank you all for taking the time off to know about the Dilemma series. I'm the moderator here this side. My name is Prachi, and we have Urvi ma'am and Shruti here with us, who would be the panelists for this webinar. To talk about the Dilemma series is a PSI product. Many of you may be aware that PSI is a global leader in aptitude and talent measurement solutions, and they have administered 15 million plus tests every year. We at Naman are PSI's official channel partner in India and 10 other countries in Southeast Asia and Africa. Naman is an official distributor of all the PSI owned talent management and assessment products that includes 16PF, Resilience Questionnaire, Emotional Intelligence, Virtual AC, and of course, what we will be now talking about is the Dilemma series. Naman also has the exclusive rights to conduct 16PF practitioner certification and assessor skills program. Today, we have two psychologists with us, Ms. Urvi Rai Chandani and Ms. Shruti Nayak. Urvi Rai Chandani is a postgraduate student and has done his post-graduation from clinical and counselor psychology, while Shruti Nayak is a postgraduate in industrial psychology. I'm glad to have both of them with us today to introduce this amazing situational judgment test known as the Dilemma series. I would request Urvi ma'am to please begin the session.
Thank you, Prachi. Thank you so much. And welcome, everyone. We are happy to have you all. Some known names and some new, and we would be happy to know you as well. So, welcome once again to this webinar. I'm sure with the title, it has put quite some curiosity and not more dilemmas for us, and it helps resolve some of our dilemmas in time to come. So we look forward to this interaction with all of you. We would also like to know some of your views intermittently. So whenever there's a question that we pose, we would appreciate you may want to share your views in the chat box, and we'd like to know about it, right? And um, while we be talking about Dilemma series, we would also talk about, we'll cover aspects about what it is, why, how's it used, what are the nitty-gritties or features of this tool. And many of you are working in the space of hiring, recruitment. So where can this be of use and how can it be applied? So these are some of the things that we like to focus on today. And hope it helps you, and feel free to put forth your questions intermittently or wait till the end, whichever ways that it works for you. We'll take those questions and we'll respond to it as we go ahead or at the end, or if let's say time becomes a constraint at any point, we would appreciate and drop in the responses to you as well. So yeah, that's about it. Let's go ahead. While Prachi is very well introduced in terms of what PSI is briefly, or what Dilemma series is briefly, and a brief about Naman, but we'd like to take this opportunity to share with all of you a bit about our organization. So Naman, our organization is now over 16 years old, and we work in the area of HR consulting. And the services that we focus on is in terms of organization consulting, assessments, and development. We have to our team about 24 full-time associates and specialists. At the same time, we partner with expert freelancers. So we have over 30 plus such experts as well with us. We are proud partners of PSI, which Prachi already talked about. A part of it, we also are partners with Door International, helping them into curriculum design and at certain places delivering the training programs as well. A part of it are technology partners, that is Deepak Saibet. while we are talking about our partners globally, we have some of our associates and group companies where we have our team of specialists work in the area of Naman staffing. And also that we have outbound guru to cater to the need of our clientels with respect to outbound programs of varied nature. And we believe in, while we may not be very large, but contribute in our own ways to CSR activities through LEAD, which is leadership development for adolescent students and esteemed clients that we worked for, and we're proud to have partnered with 300 plus clienteles in that realm, in different sectors and in different countries as well. So that's in nutshell about Naman. If we see just a quick glance through on the next one would be what are those different assignments that we work on? Not that I'd like to spend a whole lot of time there. However, in major OD consulting and performance management and its design, at the same time competency mapping and comp and bend surveys, etc. In the space of assessments and development, where we use different psychometric approaches, be it 16PF, which is a well-renowned psychometric tool. Strengths, again, I'm sure quite some of you might have heard about Strengths Finder, where based on strengths, we have some of our flagship development programs like Midas and so. Also do a lot of work in the space of assessment and development centers, which not just the traditional approach, but at the same time, it could be in terms of the virtual platform also. And I'm sure that last 1 year or over 1 year has forced us all to connect virtually, and we've been able to do that as well. A part of it in terms of development space, some of our flagship programs are around BOLT, which is long-term leadership development intervention, which could be ranging from 4 months to 1 year's time. And also integrate certain psychometric tools as part of it. So that's in a nutshell about what is it that we kind of have been doing. I hope my voice is now a little more audible. I'll try to turn on the volume a little higher. Let's look at, we talked about, or as Prachi talked about PSI, and we are really happy to have partnered with PSI now over 2 years. And PSI is a global assessment, talent assessment organization based out of US, but have their offices across the globe. And it's almost now have a 70 plus years of experience, and it's in existence since that many years. And at the same time, they have more than 550 assessments to their credits in different languages that is offered. And as we see, they have a lot of content partners. When we say content partners, some of the content which may, or tools which may not originally belong to them, but they have partnered to other experts or bodies who offer them using this platform as well. So that's in quick nutshell about PSI, and some of out of those 550 plus assessments, some of the tools that Naman has been given rights to offer in India and some of the countries in Southeast Asia and Africa are, as we mentioned, 16PF or virtual assessments, dilemma series itself, resilience questionnaire, which has picked up a lot in last about a year, where it has posed a lot of challenge for all of us to be more resilient, emotional intelligence. So a lot of these have been used by organizations. And we also certify professionals and practitioners in space of 16 personality factor assessments and also assessor skill certification. So that's some of the work and space with respect to PSI and how we are associated. Let's look at when we talk about different assessments, a lot of work in the area of hiring and even recruitment, and that's where a lot of you are involved in that area also. We'll be using some of these assessments or these approaches besides the other methodologies. And I'm sure that not just in last 1 year, but in the professional life, when as a recruiter, when as a hiring manager, you might be facing some challenges in this space. Some of it, what we are aware of, are in terms of where currently when we see a lot of vacancies because of last 1 year and the way things have moved ahead, not just though in 1 year, but um, number of vacancies compared to number of applicants is quite different. So many more number of applicants and increase in number, and to manage them, to screen them, or to see what and who can be the best fit for a given profile is one of the key challenges that probably we have understood. At the same time, where the relevance of the job and the applicant's profile, which is again one of the challenges where individuals apply or the applicants apply without having at times complete know-how of the profile, whether it suits or not. And then again, there's a humongous amount that one has to source, one has to either screen and put forth for selection. A part of it, while a lot of the applicants that might have applied, I'm sure might be capable as well, but they may not completely be aware about about what does that job entail holistically. And uh, based on their capabilities, they do get hired, but then there is concern towards retention as well once they are offered when they join. So these are some of the things that are key challenges that we probably would understand that as a hiring or a recruitment manager, you might, or some of us might be facing. We would like to hear from you at this time as to what are some of the challenges that you have facing when be it hiring or recruiting for your company or as a consultant, and can put forth your responses in the chat box, which would again enhance our knowledge as well, and we'll know what is it that you come across or what is it that you face. And we'll appreciate if you may put on your, as I said, your responses in the chat box. The question as to what challenges you face while hiring or during recruitment process. And do feel free to add on your responses there. And maybe we can even touch on to that once we look further. I can give you about a couple of seconds to write your responses. And while some of you, I'm sure, would be doing that, looking at based on this, yes, as Dipankar says, applicant's role and the mismatch to it. Yes, one key element is what we have also come across based on some of our interactions with our consulting folks. And Ankita says, finding people who genuinely want to work. Very true, Ankita. And one of our members also says, candidates with irrelevant experience tend to apply. So, yep, as we see some of the key highlights, seems to somewhere even match to what your experience is. Nicola says that market volatility and competition level, or the competency level being offered. So yeah, I think these are some of the key challenges that kind of brings us. Shweta shares that finding the right fit, especially the behavioral competency wise fitment. And I think very, very true. And quite often, a lot of emphasis might be paid on the functional or the qualification, and some of the behavioral mismatch may happen because of that as well. So that brings us to the next context of what is what is it that are some of the ways and means to identify the best talent, or how do we identify best talent, not just for the purpose of hiring or for the purpose of recruitment, but even otherwise. And some of the ways traditionally, classically, we've all been using to an extent is, for example, the CV screening. We receive maybe loads of them through references, etc., or even telephonic interviews, or we may have engaged, if we are from a given company, we would have engaged maybe the specialists in the area of consulting uh, for recruitment, or even we might have used some of the cognitive tools or tests like verbal and numerical ability. So while they all may have its own benefits, quite some of it may also pose certain challenges as well, or may prove less beneficial, or may pose some of the concerns. For example, screening of CV, and as I have been interacting with some of our, as I said, colleagues in the consulting of recruitment space, um, constant thing, a lot of CVs, intensive process to screen who's the best fit, do they fit into the criteria that's required, takes away a whole lot of time and energy. At the same time, it becomes not just in terms of the cost and man hour cost in that context, but may bring in some subjectivity. When I say subjectivity, it could be in the reference of the way one person may pay attention on one dimension, someone may pay less attention to it. So that's where the subjectivity may come in. Telephonic interviews, we've been falling back on it often, and most often, I should say. But again, as we know, it's quite time consuming. At the same time, the interviewer and the kind of objectivity or the subjectivity that interviewer brings in could be one of the concerns, be it in terms of the consistency of the interview, be it in terms of the way, as I mentioned earlier, the way the aspects are analyzed, given weightage, which brings in that perception subjectivity as well, which may make it at times less, I would say less, not less reliable, but may mar the process of the interviewing or the assessment overall. Um, Recruitment consultants or agencies, if we see, while they are experts in their areas, but for companies when they hire services, some of the ways it may impact is in terms of that adds on the extra expense. A part of it, the kind of portal or the database that they may be using may have its own limit, could be one of the other perspectives. A part of it, the assessments that we talked about, a lot of companies have been using, besides some of the other tools, often verbal and numerical ability or cognitive ability tests. Now, while it may have a helpful or a beneficial use, but at times the candidates or the applicants may not always be able to relate well with it, or they may not see the relationship with the job always. That could be one aspect. And being able to relate it with the competencies that an organization may have, that is where some challenge could be posed. And that's where if we see, while all these tools are useful, no disagreement onto it, some of the challenges that it poses, we already have talked about in terms of the cost or administration difficulties, or the process and the robustness of it, or how relevant applicant feels about it. A part of it, does it have give a benefit to relate it with the competencies or integrate with other assessment tools that might be used as a part of hiring. So these are some of the tools, but some of the challenges as well. But the next question hence that we may have is, is there any easier, maybe faster and more objective solution um, in terms of identifying the best talent? While, yes, I'm sure some of us and most of us might have experienced one of the approaches that have been popularly used by organizations are the SJTs. So when we look at the next one, where it talks about SJTs, which stands for Situation Judgment Test, and I'm sure we all know about it. Uh, Generally, while it may be used for varied purposes, quite often used for hiring and screening purpose as well, uh, along with some other methodologies or as one of the initial methods for screening. And what are some of the benefits of SJTs, or what are the features for SJTs? Uh, One of the key elements is that it makes it more relevant to the job. And SJTs, as we might be aware, situation judgment tests, where there's situations where one is likely to face in a given profile or in a given job. And in that context, there are situations created and options of responses where individual is required to choose which seems to fit the best. And that is where it gives one, when responding, the applicant feel that, yeah, it's relevant to what I'm applying for. So that's where it enhances the relevance to the job against some of the cognitive ability tests that we just talked about. For example, we said the numerical ability or the verbal ability or the logical reasoning, etc. Also that it provides more realistic perspective for the job, and the incumbent who responds and the one who is going to assess or screen, because it is related to a given job and the situations are created with that relevance. So that's where it makes more realistic and relatable. At the same time, more fair, more objective, because there's a standardized rating and the scoring, and that much more subjectivity or perception of others is ruled out. At the same time, because it's job specific, there would be less of chances that different applicants coming from different backgrounds may respond differently, a lot differently, because it's again focused on to the competencies or the requirements of the job. And that's where, as we said, that it measures the breadth of job related situations and behaviors, and thus makes it more uh, relatable, and it helps assess and link it with the competencies required for a given job. And that wide selection process is where it can help to link it with against, as compared with the cognitive ability tests. So these are this what the SJTs bring on table for all of us when we use that. And when we say, are there any standardized tools of SJTs that can make the process more assured that, yeah, they are validated, they're accurate, they have been tried and tested, and that's where the dilemma series comes into picture. And when we say, uh, again, dilemma series, as we said, it's a form of SJT. At the same time, there are ready to use SJTs for different kinds of profiles and different kinds of competencies. More about it is where, when we go ahead, and Shruti would help us know about that though. And it is being delivered, administered, and processed, I would say, and reported through standard robust platform of PSI that is called Apollo, which is obviously an online portal uh, and quite robust, accessible globally, obviously, in that context. Uh, the key features, some of it, of Dilemma series, again, is that it's been kind of related with different roles and different sectors of industries, and makes it more realistic from that context. We will see when we go to that what are different kinds of dilemma series. And around that there are different situations that are created, which is more relatable to the work, realistic based on work, and applicable to different sectors or roles. Along with it, that it has high relevance to the job, as I already mentioned in the beginning, which again makes it quite useful as a method for selection, right? And the dilemma series and different kinds of dilemma series focuses on different competencies, and that makes it easier to link it with other assessment methods which have been used where competencies have been entered. For example, assessment development centers or some of the virtual methods of assessment, or even competency based assessment. And I'm sure that as hiring managers or as recruiters or even talent assessment experts, we've been using varied tools of competency assessments, and that's where it can be very well integrated. Along with it, that it makes it quite cost effective, less laborious, uh, especially for the one who is managing pool of candidates, especially, which is used for the purpose of, again, selection and screening overall. From that context, if we look further, how in recruitment space can dilemma series fit in? So if we see the recruitment funnel in the next one, um, I think, again, all of you are experts to it, but just to kind of iterate the process where there's a requirement and for a given job, there are specific competencies that are required, and the basic qualification is what needs to be identified. There are certain screening methods that go into the process. Some of it we already have talked about. From that screening is where further selection goes into picture. And lastly, that there is a interview or a final interview, which could be technical, which could be behavioral, which could be negotiation, etc. And on basis of that is where the job offers would be given. And that's what the recruitment funnel is. Most of the effort that, as I have understood, goes into the first initial 2 to 3 phases in terms of screening, whether individual, the candidate or the applicant meets the criteria of the qualification. They get into that basic requirement. Based on that, who then fits, and then further who is best, and the further sifting of it. And when we look at that entire process, dilemma series is primarily used at the stage of screening, or it can become very useful at a screening stage more than the selection or the interview stage. Because once the screening of the best candidates, based on which you may then see what level one has performed on certain competencies, and you pick those individuals for further process of hiring, where you can actually use you can actually use the report for further interviewing, getting into the depth to know the competency-based performances of an individual. So the report can then become much more useful for interviewing as well. And as we said, that it helps in terms of reducing the time and the resources taken for screening. At the same time, can be very well later on integrated with certain competencies that are used for assessment. Besides the recruitment or the hiring space, this dilemma series often used for other purposes as well, be it for assessment centers, identification of the high pods, or talent development, or even in that case, coaching. Where if I just quickly share a bit in a line or two, that recently where we completed a huge development center is where we kind of used SJT for the managers as a part of assessment center, along with the other tools of assessment in that case. So that's where it can further be used as well. Some of the questions we would keep responding intermittently, be it in the chat box itself, or we'll take some of the questions later on. So feel free to keep dropping your questions as and when you want to, so that you don't want to forget it though later. And with that, when we look further, it, I'm sure we would all want to know what's the process in which the dilemma series was developed, or what, when we saying that it's a standardized approach, what is it that makes it standardized? And this is where a uh, I would say, five-step approach was adopted by PSI while developing the standardized basket of SJTs, where the first one was to understand what are the competencies required for the jobs or for the specific roles, right? And based on those competency identification is where in step two, further different scenarios were identified in terms of, for example, if it's let's say a first line or a second line manager in any of the, I would say, industry sector, most of the time, certain roles and responsibilities as a manager remain similar. So, what are those kinds of situations that an individual is likely to face? And before that, what are those competencies that the first line or second line manager is likely to or is required to be demonstrating? So, those competencies identification based on those scenarios, and further to it is getting into the depth to develop those scenarios with the options, right? In terms of when we said that, okay, a manager requiring to deal with a team member in terms of, for example, delegation, or in terms of guiding someone, or in terms of motivating a team member. And that's where the scenarios with the options, alternatives, I would say, are developed in stage three. And on that basis is where the subject matter experts were involved to validate whatever has been done. And on that basis is where the scoring key was then identified or designed. There, the last stage is where the entire standardization process happened. And when I say standardization, is where those tools or SJTs were administered to larger population. And on that basis is where the percentiles and other norms were developed to make it more accurate, to make it more valid for the given purpose that it was developed. And that's where the final test was developed, right? Um, there could be a question that, okay, so what would be the rating scale for the SJT? And there's where a 5-point rating scale is being used from whether approach or whether an option given, is it counterproductive or is it effective, where one needs to select what one thinks fits best for a given situation. And that's where, based on it, further the scorings are arrived, and the benchmarks or comparison with the benchmark, the norms is being done for the reporting purpose. I'm sure that we would also want to know further in context to what are the different kinds of SJTs or what are these different kinds of dilemma series. And at this point, I would invite Shruti to take us through further on to what are those different kinds of dilemma series and share more details about it. Shruti, over to you.
Thank you so much, Urvi, for setting the right context, and I think developing that base for the different dilemma series that we are going to offer or we have in place. So what we will now kind of subsequently discuss around, take you all through what are the different dilemma series available and a bit of detail around each of the dilemma series in terms of what it measures, the number of questions is had, and what kind of a report we can generate from this dilemma series. There are a couple of questions I see on the chat box around how dilemma series are different from the tools like Thomas Profiling or Strengths Finder. So as Urvi mentioned, I think what we'll do, let's first understand a little bit much in detail about this different dilemma series, and we will come to that question later. So as we may see, there are four kinds of dilemma series available, and they are called graduate dilemma, management dilemmas, administrative, and customer service or a call center dilemmas. If we have to look at some of the common features around all the four dilemma series, as Urvi already mentioned, that this is also one of the psychometric tool, and hence we say that a very standardized process is adopted to develop the test, and hence it is ensured that all the scores which are part of the reports are normed. So they're all norm-based scores. Different reports are available. As we discussed that it's not only used for assessment purpose, it can also be used for the development purpose. So the two different kind of reports available here are feedback and assessor report in all of the dilemma series. Because when you talk about feedback report, it's more around also which can be used further by the candidate. Let's say I hire the candidate. So one is, okay, I'm using it for the hiring purpose to know about the individual's competency level, and whether I should go ahead with this candidate in terms of the person job fit or person competency fit. But let's say once a person is on board, can I make use of the same report to further identify the developmental needs of the individual, and then can I have a more of a talent management plan for the candidate. So that's where the feedback report is used. And when you talk about assessor report, yes, it's more in use for hiring, where let's say you may set certain benchmark there in initial phase in terms of what is an accepted or not accepted score, so which can help you in the screening process. As well as assessor report can also be further leveraged on, let's say, in the exercises of assessment development center, or let's say in the context of high potential identification. So basis the requirement, the recruiters always can make a choice at which kind of a report they want to go ahead with. For each of the dilemma series, we will see there are a set of competencies which are identified given the role at a global level, and what are as you know, we kind of help it understand that they are more generic but also job specific. So let's say if we talk about management dilemma, which are basically for the middle managers and above, then what kind of competencies we see even at a global level most of the managers are required to demonstrate, which would help them do their job more proficiently and more effectively. So that's where in the reports we would get to see the individual competency scores. But yes, I think a very important point for all of us to make note of is any psychometric tool, be it graduate dilemmas, management, administrative, or even in that case, any of the psychometric personality tools, if you use, it's very essential. It's very essential that we verify the results of the tool by taking support of some other assessment methods to ensure that the decisions that we are making are more objective, they're more sound, and they help us make more informed decisions with the purpose with which we are using some of these tools. So similarly, when we talk even here about dilemma series, though the report and the inputs that one receives once a candidate completes the assessments are robust, it would be essential to verify further results by taking support of some other assessment tools, which could be in the form of behavioral event interviews, having some sort of a simulation exercise, or let's say have some other interactive or a report writing exercise, any other exercise which will ensure that we are making a more informed decision. All right. Now let's look at some of the key features of the dilemma series. So first one is graduate dilemma. As the name suggests, they are mainly designed keeping in mind the entry level graduates and what kind of situations they might face at work when they're entering their professional life. So, like in terms of, let's say, management trainees, or they're coming for the internship. For each of the under the graduate dilemmas, the candidate or the individual has to answer 20 different scenarios which are specifically designed keeping in mind the entry level graduates and kind of situations which they may come across at when they are entering into their work life. And for each of the scenario, 4 options are given, right? I will show you an example scenario here. And where the role of the candidate is to go through the situation and like read through the scenario, read through all the 4 options, which are more in terms of could be an approach or a solution given to the scenario. And then they have to rate basis a 5-point rating scale that in a given scenario, if X A is an approach, what according to them, is it like productive, not productive, effective, to highly effective approach to deal with the scenario. So that's how it is placed. And once the candidate completes the assessment, he or she receives a report. The report that gets generated are on the 5 graduate competencies, which is around achieving results, relationship building, planning, organizing, communication and influencing, and analytical thinking. So one is an overall score, and then for each of the competencies also you would receive candidates competency score, which can then further be leveraged or used for the next course of action. Now, graduate dilemmas are untimed. So there is not, it's not a time test that the candidate has to complete, let's say in 1 hour, and if he or she does not respond, the test is closed. But approximately it is seen that while you're setting the kind of a timeline, approximately the candidate ideally should be able to complete this assessment in about 25 to 30 minutes of time. And hence we say it's less exhaustive even in the kind of time is asked the candidate to invest in some of these exercises. So as you may see, the example scenario, so once the candidate logs in, he or she, and any of the candidate would receive a very unique link, which he has to kind of click onto and get into the exercise mode, where initially they would be receiving some sort of an instructions or points that they may have to keep in mind while responding to the survey or to the dilemma series. And scenario is presented, and for each of the scenario, 4 options are given. The role of the candidate here would be to read each of them and respond in a 5-point rating scale given the scenario, what according to them the impact this particular solution may have. So is it a more counterproductive from a very effective perspective? And for each of them, they can choose their response and then move on to the next one. So that's how it takes them from one situation to the other. Yep. Once the candidate completes the assessment, whoever is the administrator, let's say in our case, we kind of get an intimation that the candidate has completed the assessment, where a report is downloaded and a sample report here is attached. As you may see, the report is generated one on the overall where you see how is the candidate's overall standing on graduate dilemma. And for each of the competencies also the scores are provided, and along with some qualitative or some verbal inputs which can then further be leveraged in terms of, let's say if we talk about achieving results, what are some of the areas where he or she demonstrated some good judgment, and which are some of the areas where candidate can be considered for further development needs. So sample reports are there. Post the webinar, any one of you would be interested, do write back to us into inquiry@namanhr.com, and we would be happy to share the different sample reports for the different dilemma series. Moving on to the second type of dilemma series is called management dilemmas. These are mainly designed keeping in mind the first and the middle management managers across the industry, across the globe. Again, it is an untimed XJTs, situational judgment tests. And but however, we have seen that it takes about approximately 35 to 40 minutes for the candidates to complete this. And it has, unlike graduate, here we have 24 scenarios. And again, same 4 options for the candidate to respond to. And the candidates' competencies get measured on 4 major clusters, which is around leading others, planning, coordinating, managing performance, and managing relationships. So as we may understand, we're talking about managers. So competencies those get assessed here are around the managerial competencies. And for each of the four main elements, there are two sub-elements where further, I would say, one more level or a deep dive inputs are then received for each of the candidate, which now this data can then again, as we said, can be further leveraged by the recruiters or by the HR or the L&D professionals for having either an interview or a discussion with the candidate to further validate their either observations or hypotheses that one may draw about the candidate using the reports of management dilemmas, or for that matter, any other dilemma series. The next one is administrative dilemmas. These are mainly designed for the administrative clerical staff and who are more into secretarial job. They are also presented with the 20 scenarios with 4 actions, and they have to use the same 5-point rating scale to identify that according to them for a given scenario, which suggested action was like from more effective or less effective. They also get measured. The report which gets generated on administrative dilemmas focuses on 5 competencies, which is around planning, organizing, service orientation, effective communication, achieving results, and teamwork. And approximately it takes about 30 minutes for the candidate here to complete the assessment. And the last one we spoke about was customer service and or call center dilemmas, which are designed basically keeping in mind the professionals who are majorly into customer service job, also more mainly into face-to-face job, or also who are part of the customer service job, but who are part of the, let's say, industry which belongs to the call center service or inbound servicing that we talk about. Similar features, they are presented with scenarios and options, and they have to rate. And the report which gets generated is around 4 competencies for them, which revolves around all the customer service needs, their understanding of customer needs, how do they deliver, how are they likely to deliver quality service, convincing others, or dealing with challenging customers. And approximately it takes about 30 minutes for them to complete. So for all of, I think I would say for all the dilemma series, if we see, if we look at, can be used for different levels, for different employee level, right? More or less, none of them are taking more than 30 minutes of any candidate's time. If each one of them are untimed, and it can be very well leveraged further for not only hiring, but also once a person is on board, same data, a set of data can then further be leveraged on for identifying the individual development needs and have a talent management plan for the organization. One of the common questions that we receive during our discussions as consultants is, how do you prevent the misuse of such reports? Or how do you ensure that, the responses which we receive from the candidates are honest and they are candid, and, there's no forging, or there is no response which kind of gives us, okay, whether it's a true reflection of the individual or not. So some of the quick things I think which one may have to always keep in mind, and we would also suggest is you just cannot randomly invite the candidate for the taking the assessment. So it will be very essential to set the right context, and individual candidates have to be invited to take the SJT, or I would say dilemma test, with the right context or right set of communication, that what this is all about, what are they expected to do in the assessment, let's say for next about 30-40 minutes. It's an online test, and how the results of this psychometric test will be used in the given process. So if it's a hiring, how is it going to be used, or how the reports are going to be treated, and whether the candidate will receive a feedback or not on it. That's one part. And also ensuring that another thing we have ensured that since it's an online test, I think one of the greatest advantage here is whatever the scoring happens online. So the scoring key is very secure and is ensured that the moment candidate completes the assessment, immediately the report is generated through the system, And hence one may say that the reports are very objective, and there's a set process basis which the report gets generated. And even before candidate takes the assessment, the norms are well set. So once you are actually generating the link for the candidates, one may can let the consultant know which norms one may want to focus on basis which the report gets generated. And I think again important point again to reiterate is do not use this as the sole resource to make any decisions. This report is more of a enabler for the recruiter or the HR professional, for any one of us. It's an enabler to make us more informed decision about the given individual and the purpose with which we are using it. Hence, it will always be essential to support the report with some sort of an exercise, if nothing but an interview, a competency-based interview with the candidate to know more about the candidate and validate the observations that one has received as a part of the report, and add value to the candidate and as well as. And I think something which Urvi mentioned, that how it really would help is not only it would really create a positive experience for the candidate, whether the candidate gets selected or not, that's another issue. But I think when the candidate is moving out, is surely carrying a very positive experience, that in the process probably it could be an indirect way of helping the candidate reflect on himself or his or her competencies in a more structured way, right? And second, it also sometimes it kind of also adds to the overall brand image of the employer. So when I talk about in the market, and I did not get selected, but this is how the recruitment process was, and it was really enjoying process. And I think that's how it kind of also adds to the overall brand image. So I think just to quickly summarize that how it may actually really help each one of us, that saves a lot of time and money, because they're off the shelf, ready to use online assessment tool. If you ask me now, let's say somebody has a request across the globe, any place my candidate is, I can just have to send a link and request the candidate to take the assessment and then get on with my next process. Where earlier it was so much difficult to call the candidate, like a hand kind of get them to do something, have an observation. So in that context, it saves a lot of time and money. It can surely substantially reduce the recruitment process and the cost overall, because as we discussed that no need to book anything. It's automated scoring, so it's fast, it's reliable, it's valid, and it's structured in such a way that it can actually give you a bang on points to observe during the recruitment process and help you really make a more sound decisions. And as you said, it enhances brand image. So summary, I think fully automatic, 100% error free, is off the shelf and used through Apollo, which is a globally known online platform where you can actually invite the candidates and get them to do the process in a very seamless manner. These are some of the quick lists of clients who have been globally using SJTs under different categories for different purposes. Let's say we talk about Sony. They have been using the European graduate for the recruitment process. They have been using graduate dilemmas. We see companies like Hewitt. They have been again using, graduate dilemmas for their graduate recruitment purposes. Let's say for customer service, it's been used by British Airways. So the only point here I think important is they have been in use for long, very easy, very effective means. And then as we are moving towards the end, one of the questions that we have all of for you is, which of the dilemma series you feel that can be useful for you and your organization, and for what purpose? So can we have quick answers in the chat box? Now that we got a quite quick glimpse of it, okay? So if you were to kind of pick up, which one would those be, and how would you like to take it up? Anyone? Management dilemmas, Nicola says, okay. And for what purpose, Nicola, if you want to write? Okay, Dibakar also says for management dilemmas. Okay. So more coming up, I think customer service, Ankita, thank you so much. Customer service dilemmas, yeah. Customer sales and customer, they are the face of the organization. It will add a lot of value. They kind of really give first-hand experience about the organization. Yes, can add a lot of value. Habibu also says customer. Sure, sure. So I think there is one good news for all of you. For those who attended today's webinar is if you all are interested, feel free to write back to us at inquiry@namanhr.com, and we will be happy to share one free demo link for any one of the dilemma series that we understood today, right? And you can kind of have a first-hand experience around it. You can have your own experience around it, and if you feel it's helpful, you can surely use it in the capacity where you want them to be, right? So quick glance of all the dilemma series is mentioned on the screen. So the Barker said this is relatively a complex test to validate. I think what we can do here is not that complex because I think what we can do, Dibakar, is surely let us know which, let's say if talk about management dilemmas, we can share a sample report, and any of the specific areas that you want to discuss, you can always get back to us. And we can discuss that, okay, if you have to further validate the report for the candidate, or let's say design some of the interview questions there, how you may want to do it and how you can leverage on the inputs received in the report. Yes, Survi, anything you want to add at this comment before we kind of close on the session?
No, anyone has any other questions, we'll be happy to take them. Some of it I have kind of responded already, but if there are any other questions, we'll be happy to take that. So Nicola, yep, in terms of how much each of this evaluation, as Prachi has already mentioned, if you can write us back on inquiry@namanhr.com, we can share more details over there with you. Besides that, if you're interested, you can surely take any one of the complimentary tests of the 4 or 5 that are already there. Any other question, if anyone has, we'll be happy to answer them. And you can still feel free to connect with us, maybe even later on, not that you have to ask here mandatorily. But yeah, if you have questions, feel free to drop in your question on inquiry@namanhr, and it will reach us. We'll be replying it back as well.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
So thank you, all of you. Okay, so can we have access to the recording? Also, that decision probably we leave it to our team led by Toral and Prachi. But thank you so much, all of you, for participating and asking interesting questions. Thanks, Urvi, Prachi, and Toral for arranging this session. So, Prachi, you want to add something here before we're going to close?
Yes, yes. I would like to thank you and Urvi ma'am for taking out the time to brief us on this interesting dilemma series. If I would have been a recruiter, I would definitely look out to these tools because they are really helpful. And for everyone who would like to get a free test of this free demo, please write back to us on inquiry@namanhr.com. And stay safe, stay home, take care. I think I think Urvi ma'am, if you want to add something, or we can just end this session. It's
No, I
exactly
think
5, so we are on time.
right. No, I think that's fine. I think Toral has just said, dropped a message that you can email for request of recording of the session. So just to mail it back to on the same email ID, and it should help. Hope that answers Namita's question. Thank you so much. and pleasure being with all of you. We would have loved to see you all, but unfortunately, this is how it is. So,
I think with pandemic, it's so much energy to see people, right? Urvi?
Right.
Virtual.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye. Take care.
Bye.